Hello, everybody. Hi. How you doing? So nice to be here once more. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, how is everybody feeling? It's been a very full last couple of weeks, particularly this week, but a good energy this week though. Seeing Harry and Meghan going about doing their business, just looking all fly, tanned, well rested, rejuvenated, and all whatnot. Going about their business, respecting people as they should, and being respected in return, being productive, just being. It's also been quite funny to see the difference in reporting between the British media, international media, and the rest of the world, to the point that the British media is now being mocked for their hysterical reaction to Prince Harry's GMA interview promoting the Invictus Games. So, I wasn't supposed to actually be doing this live today, but um, the reaction to the interview was so extreme that I thought it might be a good idea to talk about it. So let's do that. Um, we're going to be discussing that. There might be an opportunity for anyone to call in and discuss anything they would like to add to the conversation. And then we'll be done. It's not likely to be a long one, just because for some reason staying up all hours to try and track the progress of the Sussexes as they continue with the 1 year to go countdown activities has been quite exhausting. So, before I continue, let me say hello to everybody. Hello, Nolutando. Ah, did you see how smooth that was? I'm getting used to your name. It's so lovely. Nolutando. Do you want to tell me what it means in the comment section? I hope you don't mind if I'm asking. Hi, Marcia. How you doing? Hi, Cookies and Cream. Hi, Marvel. Hi, Sharon. Hi, how you doing? How you? We made it to the end of the week. British media tantrums and all. Hi, Tanya. Hi. All right, I'm not going to keep it too long today. I just thought it'd be interesting to discuss the interview, the British media's reaction to it. So, I personally, it has just whet my appetite to looking forward to the Invictus Games 2025 February now. I applied to volunteer and I'm waiting for a response to my application to volunteer. So, this is them. Perhaps this was before the interview. Don't know. But this is Will Reeve. Apparently, he is the son of Christopher Reeve, who was the famous, I think, one of the most famous Supermans that the world has had. And he had the pleasure of interviewing Harry and Meghan. Never mind this slide. I haven't looked at it now. I can just see that I almost went overboard with the designing, but Megan was looking so pretty here. It just inspired me to go overboard with the flowers. I can see why her mother called her Flower as well. She just looks so pretty, and she must have been just as pretty when she was a child, and she has just the energy about her is so calming, calm, and Nurturing, I think, is the word I'm looking for. Hi, Dolores. Hi, Sonia. Sonia, how are you doing? So, because the Sussex friendly channels tend to get targeted, my guess is that one of the reasons why the Sussex friendly channels get targeted a lot is because YouTube is able to use the excuse of reuse content that's playing the clips from whatever platform they're able to mine the clips from. So for that reason, I've chosen not to play the clips directly on my channel. So what you will see are screenshots of the interview, and I will talk you through it. And someone mentioned to me that it would be a good idea to play the audio of the interview. There's a particular interview I'd love you to hear alongside me because it will crack you up so bad. It'll crack you up so bad. So let's begin. So, as you must have seen, Harry gave an interview to GMA to promote the Invictus Games 2025, and the British press have had palpitations about the interview since they heard about the interview. And even though there was nothing to be upset about, their reaction has bordered on the unhinged to the point that the international press has not only taken notice of it, but are now openly mocking them for it. Hi, Lorna. Um, so the New York Magazine ripped the British press a new one when they said, have you ever had a moment when you're relentlessly complaining about someone and then suddenly realize that actually you're the problem? It seems that such a revelation is long overdue for Britain's royal family and many royal commentators. So, what has Prince Harry said that would be the reason for such angst amongst the British press? That's a very good question. That is a very good question. What has he said? I hope you're all sitting down, especially those who haven't watched the interview yet. All he said was, I love my family. The fact that I was able to get on a plane and go see and spend time with my dad, I'm grateful for that. The article goes on to say that naturally during the segment, Harry was asked about his father's diagnosis, and even though at some part of the that part of the interview he seemed uncomfortable and didn't provide significant details, Harry confirms that his father broke the news to him over the phone, and he immediately went to the UK to see him, and he plans to visit him again at some indefinite point in the future. When asked about his outlook on his father's health, Harry replied, like a good son, that stays between me and him. What is there to get to find offense about? The British media managed to find something to be offended about. I mean, Prince Harry had the audacity to say he had thought about becoming a US citizen, even though right now it wasn't a priority because obviously they're in Canada for the 1 year to go countdown. The most controversial thing Harry did was agree with Will Reeves when he made an apparent reference to how his own family coped with his father's diagnosis. Who remembers? He says, I've also found in my own life that sort of an illness in the family can have a galvanizing or sort of a reuniting effect for a family. Is that possible in this case? To which Harry replied, absolutely, yeah, I'm sure. And then Harry quickly steered the focus back to the athletes. Throughout these Invictus families, I see it on a day to day basis. Again, the strength of the family unit coming together. I think any illness, any sickness brings families together. Harry has said he loves his father. He's open to reconciliation in many interviews. And yet, this did not go over well with the commentators. As in, the liches, if they were asked to describe what an ideal situation would be, they would be like, Harry, crawl on your knees all the way back from America to the UK, sit in a corner, take one slice of bread, eat when we tell you, shower when we tell you, talk when we tell you, do not do or move a muscle unless we tell you, not even if you're allowed by your dad, your mom and dad. Do everything when we tell you and not before. Because even before the interview aired in full, GB News anchors fretted about what Harry might reveal, and their royal correspondent, Rafe Haydel Manku, said he should have sought permission to speak about his father's health. On another GB News program, host Stephen Dixon declared, "The king is going to hate this." Grant Harold, Charles's former butler, another butler, right? This GB News and all the media houses seem to find a way to get a hold of the butlers, is who seem to know the royal family better than the royal family themselves. He said, "I don't think William and the king will be thrilled about Harry's interview, even though the king has already shared some information on his diagnosis. He's very private." He added, "I have no idea why Harry feels the need to speak out. That's what I don't understand." They have just exposed their foolishness to the entire world. It's just amazing to me. If you had told me that this would be the case in my older years, that I will come to realize that the British people are so foolish, I would not have believed it. Anyway, let me see what's being said in the comments. Kathy says, "It's amazing that these vile talking heads have no recollection of what Meghan endured from the tabloid media for years before they stepped back. Bitter, bitter, bitter." For real. For real. Um, for real. Or at this moment, they are everything they're doing is shooting themselves in their own foot, because now they have done it to the extent that is no longer reasonable. You know, when you where I come from, they often say sometimes you can be right, but the way you deliver your message makes you wrong. So even if for any reason, if there was any part of this discussion where they would be right, they have now overdone it to the point where they are now wrong, and the international community sees that how wrong they are. Because even if they kind of um they might not have agreed, but they could understand, I think is the word that I'm looking for. So they, even if the international community could understand them being upset with Harry's book, The Spare, the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary, their interview with Oprah. Let's say they, I'm not saying that Harry and Meghan were wrong, but let's say these people could understand. But Harry and Meghan are not talking about the royal family anymore. In fact, they're going about doing their business. And when they're going about doing their business, regardless of what they do, they still come up against this extraordinary response from the British media. Unhinged response, embarrassing response. And it just looks to me that the royal family have completely lost their power. Whatever power that Queen Elizabeth II had, Charles does not have it over the media. Whatever it is that they have held over him all these years has completely eroded his powers. Let me see what you're saying. Um, so yes, so the same tabloids that complained Harry hasn't talked about Charles's illness are now complaining that Harry talked about it. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are like rabid dogs. They are completely like rabid dogs. I'm telling you, the interest of the media and the interest of the royal family are no longer divergent. They have gone off script. Okay, did my ears deceive me? But Harry only confirms that he received a call from Charles. Yep. Harry said that he did speak to Charles. I don't know who called who, but it looks like he confirmed that they spoke. I don't know who called who. Mackenzie says, I feel for Harry because he didn't want to do anything about his family. He just agreed to quick answers in order to get global eyes on the wounded vets and Invictus. I think you're completely right, but I think in a way, you know how if you're a Christian, you would know how the Bible says everything works together for my good. So I don't think there was anything wrong with the reporter asking, because if you say this royal family are superstar families, you'll be absolutely correct. They are known all over the world. People may not pay day to day attention to the activities, but people know that they exist. So, in a sense, they might be described as people of interest. So, seeing that Harry is from that family, there has been a diagnosis of his father's ailment, which can tend to affect the financial structure of the country where the monarch comes from, and and the financial structure of countries that are dependent on that um, country where the monarch comes from. So the current situation of the monarch's health is of interest, right? So it will be an incompetent reporter who would have the opportunity to interview Harry, who would not at least attempt to ask the question. The reason, and the reason at this point, I used to feel sorry for Harry, but at this point, I no longer feel sorry for him because, excuse me, I can see that he has found his footing now. Yes, I can see he has completely found his footing now, where he was not aware of the depths that these people would go. He's aware of what everybody's place in the game is now. Whereas before, he was thinking some things like, oh, I'm a son of the realm. They wouldn't hurt me. See, remember what he said in Spare? Oh, they're not going to take my security away. Oh, they're not going to renege on the transition agreement. So all of that has helped to uh, remove the romantic view from his eyes. So he knows them very well now. He has acquired his own wealth. He is not under their thumb anymore. So I d- and with that interview that he did with William Reed, it just exposed the British media in a more open way to for the rest of the world to see their reaction. Let me see. Uh, Lorna says. Did you see some young people singing God Save the King when Harry and Meghan left the sports building? Yes, I talked about this yesterday and I said to you that I'm sure it must have hurt. And Adorable says, I'm glad Harry reminded everyone that he has his own family because when they talk about his family, they tend to talk about his father and the rest of them in the UK. They seem so ready to discard Meghan as though Meghan is not his family. And he's like, Nope, don't do that. My family is here in America." Yeah. Mackenzie says, yeah, I agree. It exposed them. It exposed them on an international scale where everyone's focus is directed to the same event. So now, whatever strength and power they had, where they were trying to create a narrative, a smear campaign, they just punctured it right now. They just punctured it. They just punctured it by overreacting. So now it's almost like when you have a toddler who has an overreaction every time something happens, like they cry wolf every time. So now no one's going to take them seriously anymore, which is good for them. Good for them. It's about time. And it's usually the case that in situations like this, it is the perpetrator of the bullying who actually outs themselves. They deal with themselves by themselves. Yeah. Let me see this. Cookies and Cream says the royal family did themselves no favors by allowing the idiocy of their racist goons to persist. They lost credibility and respect on the world stage. They have become a global laughing stock. Exactly. Exactly. And I think it right now, as of today, from the British side, they become a lot more isolated from the rest of the world. I think when they go over the stories in the last 24 hours, I think we are going to see a change, guys. I think we are going to see a change, not because they are sorry, but because they're going to realize that they are losing credibility. Okay. So before we go on, can I just get you to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed? If you're loving the updates and the commentary on my channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you have not already subscribed. By subscribing, you'll never miss out on the latest on Harry and Meghan, and you become a member of our awesome community of Harry, Meghan, their personal and business growth techniques. Thank you so much for to everyone who has subscribed. As you know, we are on our mission to achieving our target of 3,000 subscribers by the end of February. So, if you are a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed, go ahead. What are you waiting on? Go and subscribe. Hit the like button. Thank God it's Friday. So, just expend the rest of the energy that you have been using this week on clicking that like button on the video. This helps to keep the Sussex Friendly Channel's videos from being suppressed. As you know, we are waging a battle with the Rangers channels on YouTube, which for some reason YouTube has decided that they want to promote hate. And so when we do our videos and the derangers come in and click dislike the video, it tends to indicate to YouTube that our videos should not be shown as much as the derangers channels and videos. Okay. If Now that that public service announcement has been done, let's move on to the next thing. So, as I was saying, suddenly the British media, I'll just show you some of the articles. Some people say, why do we need to look at what the British media is doing? I don't believe in ignoring your enemy. I think it's a good idea to see what your enemy is doing so that you can plot accordingly. Harry was unaware of his enemies, and that's why they were getting over on him so much when he was within the royal family. Now that he is aware of his enemies, can you see how he is moving smarter? Exactly. So I don't think the way forward is for us to ignore our enemies. You absolutely need to know what your enemies are so that you know how to move accordingly. So the Daily Beast reported that Harry's remarks look likely to infuriate the palace, as friends of the royals believe the prince should have remained silent or maybe silenced. One friend of Charles and Queen Camilla, when told of Harry's comments by the Daily Beast, responded, "It seems Harry has taken it upon himself to use the diagnosis to publicize his own agenda. If it wasn't so sickening, it would be funny. What would have helped the family come together would have been if Harry had said he wouldn't be taking questions about his father." You know, all these people around an influential person or family who always feel like they know the family better than the family itself. Oh God, please, I pray to you, do not allow me to become such a person. If I have such a spirit in my life, please uproot it right now. Ah, and another one, this one is from the New York Post, where they said royal family not thrilled over Prince Harry's GMA interview about King Charles's health. And this supposedly is from an ex butler who, as I said, appears to know Harry better than the rest of the royal family, or knows the royal family better than Harry, a son of the realm himself. Um, there was an interview where a British woman gave them a what for, uh, which I'm going to play for you right now. There are 436 people on this live. Please go ahead to click the like button so that we can keep this video afloat and stand a chance against the derangers who fight against the Sussex friendly channels. Thank you. So I'm just going to. So there was this interview on Jeremy Vine. I've got a soundbite for you, but I'm playing this from a different source so that I don't contravene YouTube's community guidelines. Let's see if this works. Listen to this.
I mean, it's already been confirmed by Cara Malone on this show, and also the fact that Camilla's pal wrote in the newspaper that Harry didn't want her in the room when he spoke to his father, and she shouldn't have been in the room. He was speaking to his dad. I think it's unfair to put all the blame on Harry and Meghan. They've just said their side of the story.
Sorry, in case you don't know what's going on. So obviously they're asking the question about people's reaction to Harry's interview, and this is a lady who has just called in. Okay, let's continue.
No different than when Charles wrote the book, Diana wrote the book, Edward died, but you also had.
But it does feel a little bit, Fiona, like every time he sees his family, he's doing an interview almost the next day. And you can understand that if you're dealing with really private issues. I mean, he, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't said anything about the diagnosis and any details like that. Thank goodness. But there are some things that you just keep to yourself. And if he does feel like things are being misplaced in the media, maybe he needs a team to put those right in the same way that the royal family are doing it, so it doesn't perhaps look quite as obvious that Harry is having a say?
Do you think that that is the way it's working? I would say it's more been the way it's getting controlled by the media, because when you go onto X, the majority of the people on there, and when they're interviewed, when young people are interviewed in the streets, they prefer Harry and Meghan over William and Kate and a lot of the other royals. And I think it's the way the media are portraying them, because they're giving us the narrative that they want us to believe. I don't think he gives an interview all the time moaning and gardening and all those kind of things. I honestly don't. They release old pictures of them. They release old interviews of them. It's just been a controlled narrative.
That was a brand new interview since he met his father.
Oh no, I know about this one. I know about this one. Sorry, I'm aware of that one. But they asked him about his dad. What's he meant to say? No, sorry, I'm not doing that. And then he'd be slagged for that too. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Fiona, can I just agree with you and just point something out? So essentially, he came over and saw his dad, 45 minutes.
Hi.
There are other channels in this country that had hours of wall-to-wall coverage, essentially implying that, ooh, what a cuss on Harry. It's his own dad. But his dad only gave him 45 minutes before he went off with Camilla. I mean, maybe that's what Harry's doing with these interviews. He's literally going, that's my dad. He's busy. He's the king of the country. He gave me 45 minutes. I love my dad. We're slightly estranged. I'm back. But these are the channels, social media, everyone sitting there and literally pointing the finger at him and saying, you only got 45 minutes. So I'm sorry.
Do you think the royal family should trust Harry now, with every single time they meet up, that Harry's not going to do an interview about it the next day or have any currency on it?
I don't know.
Think of it, he's trustworthy.
I don't know if the king has got a problem with Harry being trustworthy. Maybe it's a proper split in a family. That happens sometimes. Maybe the king doesn't get on with his daughter-in-law. Maybe it's not Meghan's a complete whatever. You know, it's just a personal situation.
Personal, exactly. Personal and private. And Harry could have responded to the interviewer by saying, thank you so much. It's lovely to see my father, but it's a private matter.
But you seem to be saying
that there would still have been news on that. Harry snubs interviewer discussing the clearly underlying risks.
And also, Belinda, you seem to be implying that the split has happened because he gives interviews. It might be about deeper, more personal stuff than that. It might not be about those interviews, because look, they're the royal family, they're superstars. They all give interviews, even if the king and the royal establishment kind of do it behind closed doors. It's still happening.
Fiona, thank you very much for your call. Let's just remind ourselves.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that they said that they agreed that the royal family give interviews behind closed doors and pretend that they are not directly briefing the media? And it seems like that's what they want Harry to do. They don't want him to be so forthright about his position. Seems like everything is upside down and inside out. Let me see. Sussex Love, what do you say? He should go back to not mentioning at all. She really just ignoring them. That will drive them crazy, especially since they crave attention and they long to be part of it. Exactly. The British media, he gave an excellent interview. The British media is just unrelenting. Nothing wrong with Harry giving an interview. I think at this point it's just a drama, and they just pretend to be outraged because it gives them something to write about. And I love, Harry and Meghan are so strong, are so strong. I think I would have a problem just trying to put one foot in front of the other, just because of the unrelenting negative press all the time. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They must have a lot of help. They must have a lot of help. And just to try and get through each day. Um, and there is another soundbite that I wanted to play for you. Just a second. Um, so, as we know, the games are done now. And so Harry gave a speech thanking everybody who has been part of the organizing of the countdown. So
here with the
listen to
coaches
this.
as well to be able to try out, in some instances, for the first time being on snow. Peacemaker, you're not here today, are you? No. I'm sure everyone's read about Peacemaker from the Nigerian team. He is quite remarkable. He spent 2 days up on the mountain. He had to be escorted off the mountain in between his training sessions, as he would have stayed up there if he could. But I'll tell you what, the smiles on the faces that I've seen over the last few days, it proves why we do what we do. And that was just with the competitors. Imagine what it's going to be like when friends and family get in a coach, get in a bus, and head up to Whistler and get to spend hours or the whole day up in that beautiful mountain air. It is one of the most incredible things. I am so grateful to the entire organizing committee and the government, both provincial, but every single government here in Canada, for making this possible, because we couldn't have done this without the support right from the get-go. These last few days have been very, very special because it's been our first opportunity to have some friends, some family, and some competitors here with the coaches as well to be able to try out, in some instances, for the first time being on snow. Peacemaker, you're not here today, are you? No. I'm sure everyone's read about Peacemaker from the Nigerian team. He is quite remarkable. He spent 2 days up on the mountain. He had to be escorted off the mountain in between his training sessions, as he would have stayed up there if he could. But I'll tell you what, the smiles on the faces that I've seen over the last few days, it proves why we do what we do. And that was just with the competitors. Imagine what it's going to be like when friends and family get in a coach, get in a bus, and head up to Whistler and get to spend hours or the whole day up in that beautiful mountain air. It is one of the most incredible things. I am so grateful to the entire organizing committee and the government, both provincial, but every single government here in Canada, for making this possible, because we couldn't have done this without the support right from the get-go. These last few days have been very, very special.
And that was Harry. And that was Harry thanking everyone for their parts, the parts that they have played in organizing the Invictus Games without notes, I might add. Without notes, sounding very comfortable, confident, comfortable in his own skin, and confident as well. Let me see the comments. Gwen says, these idiots are always going to put Harry and Meghan down. They're crazy. Yep, absolutely. Um, they complained he didn't mention his father at NFL awards. Now he talks about his father and it's still a problem for them. Ignore the media lunatics. I think you're correct that they complained, but I don't think it's possible to completely ignore them. I think it's Harry and Meghan who need to ignore them in terms of them not allowing the media to steer their direction, but still be mindful of them. I don't think it's safe. It's less stressful, of course, to put yourself in a bubble and just pretend like the enemy doesn't exist. But when these are, if you've been following my Byline Times expose, you would know that these people, it's not just a simple verbal malicious smear campaign which can affect their mental health. These people are intent on doing them physical harm as well. And so they need to keep their eyes on the media to understand where the moves are coming from and to be able to predict what's going to happen next. Like if you've been following the saga for any amount of time, at this stage, I think maybe I'm going to create a quiz around that. At this stage, you'll be able to identify who works for who in the media. For instance, like I would swear up and down that GB News is Prince William's PR arm. Would you agree? GB News is Prince William's PR arm, and then the older journalists like Dickie Arbiter for the King, um, Dickie Arbiter, Vicky Arbiter, the one with the without the eyelashes, are the PR arm of the King and Queen. The Daily Beast, Tom Sykes, is a friend of Williams. Um, yes, exactly. And Camilla Tominey, she is for William as well. Oh, what's the one without the neck now? What's her name? GB News and Daily Fail for William. Daily Fail. Daily Fail. They've got somebody working in King Charles and Camilla's office. So I don't know whether you can say that they are completely for William. Yeah, Sussex Love says you are right, Isabella. Sometimes you have to fight. Harry is a soldier and he knows how to be strategic. My advice to all is to watch and pray. Watch, gather your money, and pray. Because faith without works is dead. So we need to. Oh, Sarah Vine, the lady without the the lady who talks about Meghan's appearance, who doesn't have a neck. What camp do you think she's in? I need to create this quiz. I have it on my to-do list where we will sit down and assign each person on the horrible hate campaign uh, into their respective houses. House of Slytherin or the others. Anyway, all in all, I would say it's been a very successful countdown. Harry and Meghan are done. Did you guys see Meghan's coat? Her look today was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Completely gorgeous. Completely gorgeous. Would any of you like to call in? As I said, it's not going to be a long one today. I can take one or two people and then we will sign off for the evening. If any of you would like to call in, I will drop the link in the comment section. You can come up and give me your 2 cents, and then we will call it a day. Okay? All right. Dana says Harry and Meghan are doing their business, and the UK media will find any way to attack them, even if it means creating the news. Before this interview, Kinsey noted the camera crew present and concluded it was paramount. Kinsey, you see, Kinsey is in trouble. You know why I say Kinsey is in trouble? Kinsey admires Meghan. Yes, she does. Kinsey admires Meghan. She would love to be Meghan. She admires Harry and Meghan actually for what they're doing. But I think she has gotten paid to disseminate a negative bias in all her reporting. So she can't help but do distribute the negative bias now, even if what she doesn't, even if she doesn't believe what she's saying. The media is Britain keep the need the royal family to keep them in business. That is part of the reason they uphold that relic that is called the royal family. Mm, I agree. Megan will be an icon, mark my words. She will blow their minds. She's too smart for these fools. Sit back and watch. Their minds are already blown. Their minds are already blown. She has blown, and since they came in contact with her, they have been yet to get back to their they have been they have been able to recover their equilibrium, their balance. The sus Kathy. The Sussexes have a team of seasoned advisors. They do not roll by themselves. They are 10 steps ahead before the rodents catch. I've always said the Sussexes play chess while the others are playing checkers. That's for real. That is for real. Um, if you're just joining us and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead to subscribe. Um, if you are a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead to subscribe. We are aiming for 3,000 subscribers by the end of February. I had over 11,000 viewers on one of my videos last week. How is it that I had 11,000 viewers and just 2,000 odd subscribers? Come on, you know you want to. Go ahead and subscribe. Let me take this call in from Sussex Love. Hi, Sussex Love. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? Hi, squaddies.
Haven't you been finding everything that's been happening so ridiculous?
I have been just so happy to see Meghan and Harry looking so happy and
Yes, me too.
purpose filled. And they're
Yes.
finally finding their way and going along and doing what they need to do, what they want to do. As Harry said in that interview, I've always served. I think that's why him and his grandmother were so close. She understood duty and work, and his brother didn't understand that.
Yes. Yes,
So
yes, absolutely right. Yep.
I know one thing I didn't like though, some of that noise over there is when one of them, I can't think of, it was one of the trolls, and she also has no neck, but it's a different one with no neck.
Okay.
She said that she was so tired of Harry using the excuse of his mother and this and that, and it's being
Oh,
traumatized
I know
because
who
she's
you're
tired
talking
of it.
about. Yeah.
Right, right. And she said, because William has gone through the same thing. And I
Mm.
couldn't help but think to myself, is William doing well? I mean, is Sway Shady doing okay? I mean, his last thing, it looked like he was drunk and under the influence. We don't know where his wife is. Is she trying to say he is the example that Harry should follow? Willie is not in good shape. He needs therapy. So I don't understand them. He clearly, I mean that though. He needs therapy. He's not well. He's not well. He's been taught to believe that he's entitled to things. He
Mhm.
is not the brightest bulb in the room, and he
Mhm.
does need help. But it's not Harry's responsibility to take care of him. William's
Mhm.
not even trying to stand on his own, and he wants to be king. They need to help him, and nobody's helping him. He's out there just, Charles isn't helping him. I don't know if people want Charles's help, but I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're a mess. They're a mess, and I can't help but think that that's why the Queen hung on for so long, because she
Yeah.
knew they'd be a mess,
Mm-hmm.
and they're literally unraveling before our eyes. You know,
Completely unraveling before our eyes. Completely.
I think we should
And
pray.
you would
So,
think that since they are unraveling, that means obviously something they've been doing is not working, right? So let's try something else. And Harry's come on forward and said, okay, if you acknowledge that something is not working, rather than just complaining about it, here's the solution. Why don't we try this? And then they go ballistic on him and want to isolate him from the family because he has decided that I don't want to be mentally, emotionally, or physically stunted in my growth.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but
But he's decided that he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want. He's looked around, and I remember kind of like having the same thoughts when I was coming up. Like, when we would see like older people, like when you go back home and then you see the older people who would tell you stories and you look at them, uh they probably either don't have families or their families are all dysfunctional, or they could have, you see them with so much potential, and then you ask them what happened and they come out with all these stories, and you just think, if I remember correctly, somebody was telling you to try something else and you had a fight with that person. In fact, I doubt if you even talk to that person today. And yet your life is a mess. And you would rather be in that mess than take the advice of anybody who would want to tell you that your perfect way is not working. Yet you can see it's not working. Yeah,
well,
I don't understand it.
I used to think that they were just, woefully self-unaware, but I don't think that's it. I think that they believe that they are chosen by God, William and Charles, and they believe that are anointed to just exist, and everybody should be their women. They don't see anything wrong with it. I don't think they ever understood Harry, just like they didn't understand his mother. I mean, Charles treated Diana miserably just because he was jealous that she was loved by people. He couldn't figure out why, although he could see that she went out there and she loved people, she
Yeah.
traveled, but he still couldn't figure out why they liked her and not him, because he
Mm-hmm.
thought it was all about the royalty. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they can see past that. The queen was able to look past and around and see stuff
Mm-hmm.
changing. She put Harry and Meghan in charge of the youth commonwealth because
Mm-hmm.
she was trying to make a way for them to last into the future. But the
Mm-hmm.
courtiers and the old guard, they weren't for that, you
They
know.
weren't on board. But I don't you think there was I don't know whether it has anything to do with the structure of the royal family and how it works, because there are certain things that are laid down in law, so they're kind of unchangeable. But um the thing is, she left Harry without any power to achieve what he wanted to do. So she did all those wonderful things while she was alive, which must have ticked William off to no end. How dare you give the National Theatre to Meghan? How dare you make Harry the president of rugby? All
How
of these
dare
things
you let
you
him
want.
wear his beard and get married and you made me shave mine?
Yes. If he could have a tantrum over a beard, imagine how he felt about Meghan being the patron of the National Theatre in the UK.
But William's lazy. He didn't really want to do any work. He just didn't like the attention that Meghan and Harry were getting. He wanted the attention. He doesn't want to do any work. He just wants
Mm,
the attention and the accolades. That's what they all want. They don't really want to do any work. But at least Charles had enough sense to make it look like he was doing it. Some of the things that the Prince's Trust charities did was good. But William just has no concern. He doesn't want to do anything. Charles at least learned to speak Welsh. William didn't. Charles learned to speak, what was the French for that promise? Not
Right,
William. He's not going to bother to do
right.
any, he's not interested in doing any of those things. He's not that smart. He isn't. He's not that smart. And,
Actually, if you think about it, Harry and William are kind of the same. It's just the same, but in different spirits. I tell you what I mean. So Harry is kind of blunt. Learned to be a bit more diplomatic over time. He finds it difficult to be anything. Like you can literally, he wears his heart on his sleeve. You just need to look at his face, and you can tell how he's feeling.
mhm.
I think he finds it difficult to be anything but his authentic self. And I
It's
think the same with William, but in a negative way, right? Because William, unfortunately, when you look at what you're seeing, it's not pleasant.
but when he was a child, he was a terror. He was awful. He was awful. You saw the clips of him and Dan, and he was jealous of Harry. Harry had a puppy. He tried to snatch the puppy out, but he was gonna kill the puppy trying to
Right.
snatch it. He was always like that. He was always Diana knew what it was gonna be like for Harry. That's why I think she tried to make him strong, and she tried to make him be able to fend off by himself because she knew everything was gonna be for William. She knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so and Harry is like her. She's got a heart. He's got a heart like Diana. And William is like the heir. He's like William. He's like Charles. I
Yeah.
mean, so that's the path they took. He's following his mother's path. That's where his heart is going. And William is stuck there being the heir.
Yeah.
You know.
And the unfortunate thing too is that they don't give female energy the respect that it deserves, because female energy brings something into the mix always and every time that because I was just thinking in my head that does this have anything to do with the fact that men are not naturally sensitive to things? They usually just really, I mean, it takes a very special type of man to be like Harry, to be sensitive to know what the next person, and it takes a man who has suffered usually to be the
It's just
kind of man.
it's just like you said before. It's not. It's the rules. It's the institution. It's what the institution is. It's an institution built on colonization, rape,
Right.
pillage, and murder, slavery, institutional racism. That is what it is built on. They still
Right.
have stolen jewels that they had the nerve to say they were going to loan back to India for them to use their own jewels. They're going to loan it to them so they can use it. I mean, that's the institution that it is. It's a racist misogynist institution. You saw that story saying that
Mm.
Harry should come back, dump Meghan, come back and marry a dim. Tell him he should come back and marry a stupid woman. There wouldn't be of any challenge to him and
Yeah.
just do what she was told. They actually put that in the paper recently that he should
Guys,
dump Meghan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
guys, oh, you would not believe what has just broken
What?
news from the Times and the Sunday Times. They've put out this exclusive. The Duke of Sussex is willing to return to a temporary royal role in support of his father during his illness, sources have revealed.
Really? That's not what he said in the interview.
Exactly! Oh
Wow.
my
He said
God.
very clearly, I will go back. I have business in the UK and near the UK.
Oh
And when
my
I go there, I will visit
God.
and check on my family. I thought that's what he said. I didn't hear him say, I'm willing to go back. I think he said he was hoping, that family would forgive each other and they should be closer. But I didn't hear him say, yeah, I'm going to go back. And I
I'm
didn't hear
just
him say
gonna
that.
show this to you guys in a second. See.
Wow.
Oh,
Is that a Murdoch publication, those two
yep.
publications you mentioned? Oh, well, man, that's
There you
wishful
go.
thinking. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The Duke is willing to return to a temporary royal role in support of his father during his illness, sources have revealed.
Mm.
Exclusive. And they're calling it an exclusive,
Wow.
which means that
Nothing.
this is probably this is probably coming out of the conversation that Harry had with Charles. So they're
Oh.
either trying to pressure Harry into making a decision,
Mm.
with the threat of making the headlines bad if he refuses whatever offer he was given at that meeting.
Do
Well,
you
I
think they just read? Did you think they just looked at Tisha Tales? Because that's what she thinks. She thinks he's going back in too. She had a big thing where she wrote it. He's going back or whatever. You think they're subscribed to her?
might make completely possible.
Well, I'm not convinced.
I think it's completely possible just because of Harry's overdeveloped sense of responsibility.
Mm.
Um, it would be extremely difficult, divergent from his nature, for him to look at everything falling apart and not do anything, even if he knows it will still get him
That's a
negative
good point.
press.
That's a good
Uh,
point.
he would want to do something, if not for the royal family itself, at least for his father,
Mm.
just because that is his nature. I
Hmm.
wish he had a more horrible nature like William, and then we wouldn't like him so much.
We wouldn't like him at all. If he was like William, he would never have gotten Megan. Oh my God.
So I think, but honestly, I do think that King Charles has been sending flare signals for a while.
Mm.
I do. I really do. I think that it has been some conflict between the royal family and the media,
Hmm.
uh, because when King Charles was promoting the idea of a slimmed down monarchy, Harry was at the forefront of his mind because he must have known how useless William was.
Mm.
Now
Hmm.
Harry says, well, I can do it, but I can't do it the way you're saying, right?
Oh, I
So
see
I
what you
need some
mean.
changes X, Y, and Z. And
Mm.
like you said, the monarchy thinks that they are appointed by God and all whatnot, right? So
Mm.
how dare Harry, who is supposed to be a spare? This is not a
Mm.
concept that would be easy for anybody outside of um,
Hmm.
the royal family to completely understand. But really, the spare is someone who is not supposed to be glamorous, especially in the way that they have treated it in the modern era, where they, in those days, anyone who was like the younger brother to the heir, they literally had sword battles. There were wars fought over who
Hmm.
was going to
Hmm.
be the heir. So
Hmm.
when you have two people who ha- could be eligible for the throne,
Mm.
and then there would be a battle about it,
Mm.
and it was kind of almost like the survival of the fittest. But that
Mm.
was before law was laid down in
Mm.
order to determine who was set. That was the
Mm.
reason why
Mm.
laws were laid down, to
Mm.
ensure that it ended this whole thing about wars.
Right.
But
Right.
do you know what could happen? And this one, I'm not trying to blow anybody's mind, and don't get upset. Okay. But what if Charles offered Harry a regency?
Oh my God. Other than William having a stroke, you mean? Because there's no way he would blow a gasket. We know. No, I don't know. Look, no, I don't. You know what? The newspapers would love it over there because William would lose his mind.
He
He would
would
lose his mind.
lose his mind. But what
But
if William doesn't even have the capacity to lose his mind? Because it looks like, with that last outing of William, it looks like he lost something. He lost about 80% of himself. It was just a
I think
shell.
I think that Kate's uncle gave him a little something for
So
his nose. Isn't that the family business? That's their family business.
gave
He
him
doesn't
some
know.
candy.
Gave him some nose candy, yes. Because he was just, I mean, look, I can't get over Camilla and Charles. I can't see that they would let Harry do anything because they hate him having the spotlight. I think that they want to control him to get him to stop those lawsuits. That's the
Mm,
only thing I can see because they can't stand the fact that he's more popular. That's why he hated his own wife. So I don't think he loves her children. Either one of them.
mm.
I don't think he loves William. I don't think he loves Harry. And I can't see that he would be able to stand having Harry have all that popularity and the spotlight, him or Camilla, and especially not William. And William might be in jail because we don't know what he did to Kate.
Yeah, exactly. I think his current condition is as a result of something he may have done to Kate. And whatever he did must have been so bad
Mm-hmm.
that it has now led to a situation where he is now dependent on something just to be able to
Mm-hmm.
function, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
thing is. Yeah,
Whatever it is, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, well, this is really, really interesting. It looks like we're in for a few more interesting weeks because my prediction, though, is, and I say this not because I want to irritate anyone, but because I'm trying to prepare everyone for what's coming. I definitely think that Harry may offer to take on one or two things, maybe one or two important things, which may hold the royal family up just because he thinks that that's his duty
Well, you could be right, but
to
I
do.
keep
Not
coming
that he's
back to,
coming back.
but I
Um,
just can't get around the fact that they don't really do anything that's important. I mean,
what do
they
you
don't
mean? They
do,
cut
they
ribbon.
do, what?
They cut
Okay, but
ribbon.
but the Ballberry twin. I mean the what's the one? Beatrice and Eugenie. They can do that. They can cut with the other one. The one they could go get Diana's niece, the gorgeous
Mm.
one that kind of looks like Diana. They would love her, but they would be too jealous.
Oh,
That's why they don't let her do
the
anything.
Lady Spencer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're too jealous of her. That's why they don't let her do anything. Because she's gorgeous and she's probably brilliant like Diana, and they probably can't speak.
Yep.
But they got
Mm.
people that they can recruit. Get that the one that everybody says is gay that wears the kilts all the time. He's handsome. The women will be following him around. But they don't want to do that. They just I don't know what's wrong with them.
They are so fragile. They have, for people who have access to so many on so much resources, it's quite disappointing to see how illiterate, how uh, little advanced they are. They're so immature mentally, emotionally as well.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that with all their resources that they would be the most educated people, right? They
You
would
would think.
um you would think the most mature people on the planet. I mean, for goodness sake, these people have access to things that cannot even be mentioned. They have access to things that are classified. Do you understand? Like uranium,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
weapons. These
Yep.
people we're talking about have access to all these things. And yet, you know, is it any wonder?
But this is
Hi,
the thing.
Lex. Hi, Mary. Um,
Oh, okay. I know somebody else wants to talk. They're probably getting
so
tired of me.
no, sorry. No, you can go ahead. If anybody wants to come up and have a chat, please feel free to do
Yeah,
so.
come on. We should do a group chat. I don't know how to do that. I hope you do.
Let me just put the link in the comment section one more time, just because I know everyone, it gives everyone an opportunity to
Yes.
let off some steam. It's been a
Because
busy week.
I know Gwen and cookies and cream. I know they got something. Oh, I forgot Church Nelly. Forgive me, Church Nelly. I didn't mean to. But but Harry being away for so long and doing really good work, the things
Yeah,
that William stopped him from doing because he had to get approval for every little thing. He knows that they don't really do anything. So I
right.
can't get my mind around that he would want to go help them when he knows they're not really doing anything. You know what I mean? Because there's others that could do something, but maybe he still would want to anyway because of his heart. But
Mm.
after being away, he can see clearly that they're not really doing anything. Because this stuff about William and the homelessness, for example, William just got, what's that last duchy he got, or whatever you call them things? He just got another one. He want to stop homelessness. He could write a check. It'd be gone in a day in Britain.
Yeah,
One check. One check. So I know he's not serious. You know what I mean?
right.
So I mean, they don't serve any
What are all
purpose.
the things that William said he wanted to do? He wanted to
Stop peace in the Middle East
Middle East, okay?
and stop the homelessness in Great Britain. He didn't say anything about the
Right.
rest of the world, but Great Britain. He wants to be a world state, a global statesman. He wants to do the environmental thing, which is through Earthshot, I guess.
Through Earthshot. Right.
Which is
And he is not even managing to take care of himself. So how is he going to get all of these things done?
why is he
And
hiring a CEO when he doesn't have a company? He's not a company. He's not a business. It's a family firm, but it's still not a
no, that
company.
was just to compete with Harry and Meghan, not realizing that his structure and Harry and Meghan's structure are completely different.
But he does own businesses and shares and stock in it, but he just hasn't made them profitable because he doesn't know what to do to make them profitable because he's lazy. And so he doesn't do anything. So
Can you
that's
imagine? We have always looked at this from William's point of view, right? Have we ever thought of this from Harry's point of view? Because to him, like William right now would be a burden of a brother to have.
yes.
Do you know how much carrying he must have had to carry William just for everything to look like things were
But
running
but he
smoothly?
never thought of it that way. He was trained to believe he was only there to be a spare part for William. Can you imagine somebody being raised believing that their only purpose was to be a spare part, literally? If he needed an organ
Right.
or if he
Yep.
needed to scapegoat, that's why William is furious because he keeps saying, "You left, Harold, you left." What he means is you left me here. You're supposed to be following me around, taking all the slings and arrows to me. I'm supposed to be doing what I want, and this is your job. You're supposed to be here, blocking me. That's why he's angry because
Mm.
he's having to fend for himself, and he can't do it because he don't want to do it. And that's why he's furious that Harry left, and that he has this gorgeous wife that loves him. He tried everything to break them apart. They
Mm.
chased away his other girlfriends, and they thought they could chase Megan away, but they didn't know he got the right one. That she is his person. That's why they couldn't chase her away.
She is his person. You said it right. Thank you, Black Queen. Thank you for the super sticker. She is his person. Megan is his person. Oh my God. That was such a beautiful way to put it.
Everybody's looking for their person, but he found his person.
He-
She found hers, and that's
Mhm,
why they couldn't chase her away. That's why William couldn't break them apart because he tried, and they're
mhm.
still trying, and they
And
still
they're
can't.
still trying. After two kids, they're still trying.
In 8 years,
And Gwen says, and they want ice water in hell.
that's right, Gwen. That's right, Sister Gwen. I'm gonna say preach on that because they devils. They devils, Gwen. You right?
And Sonia said last week it was reported that Charles gave William 1 billion and Harry none. Well,
That's
Harry
right.
has everything. He doesn't need their 1 billion. I'm sure it
No,
comes
he
with
doesn't.
strings
He don't need
anyway.
that dirty money. He don't need that dirty
No,
money.
he doesn't need it. Anyway, okay, if nobody else is coming up to speak, I think we will end this evening session here.
My squaddies, pray for you all. Pray for me.
We'll pray for you. Thank you very much, Sussex Love, for coming up to have a chat. I think we should make this a tradition now every Friday.
Okay, I'm willing. We should try to make it groups or be somebody else talking, because I know
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
they can
I
join
think
in with us.
it would have been nice to be able to do that. Maybe next time
Right. Okay.
somebody else will join us. But thank you for coming up to speak today anyway. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye. Okay, guys. I can see. Let me see. You're talking about tissa tails. Tissa tails. And do you want to come in and have a chat, Delia the cat, or this is the last chance before I completely sign off? Okay. All right. I'll drop the link in the comment section so you can come up and have a chat. I know maybe one of the other channels will be coming on soon, but I will just do this briefly. Okay. All right. Next time. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Have a good evening, and I'll probably be in touch sometime over the weekend. Otherwise, have a good weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.